The night Iron Mike became human. For years, Mike Tyson didn't just win fights, he terrified the entire sport of boxing. Opponents looked defeated before the first punch was even thrown. His knockouts were brutal, his stare was chilling, and his reputation felt almost supernatural. By 1990, Tyson seemed completely unstoppable. He was the youngest heavyweight champion in history, destroying challenger after challenger in devastating fashion. And many believed no man alive could survive more than a few rounds with him. But on one unforgettable night in Tokyo, everything changed. Across the ring stood Buster Douglas, a fighter almost nobody believed had a chance. The odds were shocking, the expectations were low, and the world expected another quick Tyson knockout. Instead, what happened that night shocked the entire sports world. Because that was the night the unstoppable monster became human. By the late 1980s, the Mike Tyson had become more than just a champion. He was the most feared fighter on the planet. His rise through the heavyweight division was unlike anything boxing had ever seen. Tyson didn't just win fights, he destroyed opponents with frightening speed and raw power. At just 20 years old, Tyson became the youngest heavyweight champion in history, a record that still stands today. From that moment forward, he dominated the division with ruthless efficiency. Fighters like Trevor Berbick, Michael Spinks, and Larry Holmes were overwhelmed by Tyson's aggressive style and devastating knockout punches. But Tyson's greatest weapon wasn't just his power, it was fear. Many opponents walked into the ring already intimidated by his reputation. The moment the bell rang, Tyson would explode forward with relentless pressure, leaving little chance for anyone to survive his early attacks. By 1990, the world believed Tyson was unbeatable. And no one expected that the man standing across from him in Tokyo would completely shatter that illusion. Standing across the ring that night was Buster Douglas, a fighter almost no one believed in. Compared to the terrifying reputation of Mike Tyson, Douglas was seen as just another challenger waiting to be knocked out. The betting odds were almost unbelievable. Some bookmakers listed Douglas as a 42-1 underdog, one of the biggest mismatches ever in a heavyweight title fight. Analysts predicted the fight wouldn't last more than a few rounds. Many expected Tyson to finish the job quickly, just like he had done to so many others. But what most people didn't realize was that Douglas had something deeper driving him that night. Just weeks before the fight, his mother had passed away suddenly. The loss devastated him, but it also fueled a powerful determination. Douglas later said he promised his mother he would become world champion. Now, while the world expected another Tyson knockout, Douglas entered the ring with a completely different mindset. He wasn't there just to survive. He was there to shock the world. On February 11, 1990, inside the Tokyo Dome, the atmosphere felt almost predictable. Fans had seen this story before. Mike Tyson would walk into the ring, unleash his terrifying power, and the fight would end quickly. Across from him stood Buster Douglas, the massive underdog. Few people believed he could last long enough to make the fight interesting. Even many boxing experts assumed it was just another routine title defense for Tyson. But from the very first round, something felt different. Douglas didn't look scared. He didn't back away or try to survive Tyson's attacks. Instead, he used his reach, sharp jab, and movement to control the distance. Each time Tyson tried to rush forward, Douglas met him with clean punches that stopped the champion's momentum. Round after round, the unexpected began to happen. Douglas was not only surviving, he was winning exchanges. Tyson looked frustrated, unable to dominate the way he usually did. For the first time in years, the unstoppable champion looked human. And the fight was only getting started. As the fight moved into the middle rounds, something unbelievable began to unfold. Mike Tyson, The man who had terrorized the heavyweight division for years was suddenly struggling to control the fight. Then across the ring, Buster Douglas continued fighting with confidence and discipline. His jab kept snapping Tyson's head back, and his combinations landed cleanly again and again. The crowd inside the Tokyo Dome began to sense that they were witnessing something extraordinary. But Tyson was still Tyson, and champions are always dangerous. In the 8th round, the champion finally landed a crushing uppercut that sent Douglas crashing to the canvas. For a moment, and it seemed like the familiar story was about to repeat itself. Tyson had knocked down yet another opponent, and many expected Douglas to stay down. But Douglas slowly rose to his feet before the count ended. Instead of collapsing under the pressure, he came back stronger. The challenger continued pressing forward, throwing punches with even greater determination. The fight had reached a point no one expected. Tyson was no longer the hunter. Now, he was the one being chased. As by the 10th round, the impossible was becoming reality. Mike Tyson looked exhausted, frustrated, and unable to stop the momentum of Buster Douglas. The underdog, who was supposed to be knocked out early, was now controlling the fight. Douglas sensed his moment. With confidence growing in every exchange, he began throwing powerful combinations that pushed Tyson backward. A sharp jab snapped Tyson's head back, followed by a crushing uppercut and a series of clean punches that landed perfectly. And then it happened. Douglas unleashed a devastating combination: right hand, uppercut, and another powerful hook, sending Tyson crashing to the canvas. The once unstoppable champion struggled to gather himself, even searching the canvas for his mouthpiece as the referee counted. For the first time in his professional career, Tyson could not beat the count. The arena erupted in shock. Commentators could hardly believe what they had just witnessed. And one of the biggest upsets in sports history had just happened. The undefeated, feared champion had been knocked out by a man the world never expected to win. When the referee waved the fight over, the boxing world stood in disbelief. Buster Douglas had just defeated Mike Tyson, the most feared fighter on the planet. What was supposed to be an easy title defense had turned into one of the greatest upsets in sports history. For years, Tyson had seemed unstoppable, almost mythical inside the ring. His opponents were crushed within minutes, and many believed no heavyweight alive could truly challenge him. But on that night in Tokyo, the illusion of invincibility finally broke. Douglas proved that even the most dominant champion could be beaten with courage, discipline, and belief. The fight didn't just crown a new champion, it changed how the world saw Tyson forever. He was still dangerous, still powerful. He's still one of the greatest heavyweights in boxing history. But after that night, one thing was clear. Iron Mike Tyson was no longer a monster. He was human.